I am really excited about this Colombian honey process. Traditionally, there are two ways to process a coffee cherry. One's called the wash process, where you actually take the pulp off, soak the seed for 36 hours in a vat because there's a mucus film around the seed, and then you let it sun dry. There's also the dry process where you just take the cherry, put it out on screens and let the sun dry it, then you crack the dried pulp off. But this honey process is a little bit in between. You take the pulp off the bean, but you leave that mucus on the seed because that mucus is loaded with sugar. And it is sun-dried with the mucus film on it, and then the coffee is washed. And so what happens is that mucus, which with all the sugar in it, imparts a very distinct sweetness to the coffee. And I got to tell you, this Colombian coffee is extraordinary, and it's really hard for me to come up with the right adjectives, but the words of creamy, sweet, depth, a lot of complex tones are coming out of this coffee, and it's becoming my favorite. Okay? In our coffee world today, there's a lot of people that are enjoying light roasted coffee, and we are now introducing two extra light roast coffees. When I say extra light roast, like for example our Honduran light roast, and we dump that out of our roaster around 427 degrees right after the second crack. But these two coffees, our Colombian extra light and our Honduran extra light, we're dumping these out of the roaster right at 406, 407 degrees right after the first crack is finished. We call this our first crack coffee. And these coffees are naturally sweet. The Honduras actually has some caramel, toasted marshmallow tones in it. The Colombian coffee's got these cherry chocolate tones that are going on, and the extra light roasting brings out a lot of these characters. Finally, we have a new blend called Dos Centavos. And we're very fortunate that my friend Camilo is one of the guys that travels to different coffee farms around Central and South America and purchases coffee that we roast and serve right here at the Rio Coco Cafe. Camilo is originally from Nicaragua. I know him because his dad was one of the comandantes in the Sandinista War fighting against them. He knew Truman, Truman and I started our school project back in the 80s. But Camilo and I came up with this blend of Colombian coffee with a touch of our Ethiopian light roast. And it's an extraordinary blend. We call it Dos Centavos. That means in Spanish 2 cents. But in Nicaraguan slang, centavo is a word that means, how can I say this? An extraordinary but sometimes irritating character. And here you got Dos Centavos right on the label of this one. So we have now a plethora of choices when you come to our website or come to the Rio Coco Cafe. We have coffees from super light roast to our Truman's Negro Fino to our extra dark roast. We're spanning the total spectrum of the tones and flavors, and of course, we change people's lives with the profits from our business, and that's the best part.